Now, I've talked about this, but I should imagine many other YouTubers have talked about it, and it's nice that it's now getting talked about in the mainstream. Now, I'm not saying it's just YouTubers. There have been a lot of people who have been campaigning about basically the repatriation of single Irish mothers with their kids back to Ireland. And when they got back there, what they found, they were put into homes and they were meant to work it off. Some of these kids were taken from the mothers and some of them were murdered. And they found grave sites where lots of babies' bodies have been found. Now, it seems that the government have admitted, or at least the British have admitted to playing a large part in this, saying that they found these women and children to be a burden on the state and they didn't want them. The Irish angle is that they felt that they were losing people from the Catholic Church. That sounds to me much like Islam, you'll never leave kind of thing. And I have to say that there are certain parallels that you can draw between Islam and Catholicism. Both like to make the people underneath them miserable. Both like to say that their followers have sinned. And both rule with an iron fist. Although I don't think that the Catholic have ever stoned people to death on a regular basis and made their people cover up quite so much, although they did. Both of them have a lot to answer for. Both of them have got sexual exploitation of minors and some adults. But basically what was happening, if you got pregnant over in Ireland, because there was no way you could get an abortion, some people would go north and seek to get an abortion up in Northern Ireland. Some people would flee, and some people would flee back to Britain, or over to Britain, I should say, England in particular. And when they did, what would happen is the church would send out search parties for these people and basically recapture them and send them back to where they came from to be punished for their sins, because the child was considered evil because it was born out of wedlock, so therefore it was a sin. And the mother then was considered to be less than, she was treated like shit, absolutely, worked to death, sometimes never let out. She had to work off her sin, kind of thing. And I despise the Catholic Church for that. Now, I wouldn't say the Protestants were any better in certain areas. Both. In fact, I'm going to go further to say that all religions, wholesale, do their best to keep people within the religion by fear, by shame, by guilt, by peer pressure. Call it what you want. Now, I believe if you want to have a relationship with God, you do that, right? But you can do it yourself. You don't need a broker, being a priest, a father, a vicar, or the church, to be at one with God, if that's what you want to do. In the same way that if you want to be a Muslim, I don't believe that you should be told that you have to go to the mosque whenever, and that you have to abide by all these different rules. If you want to be at one with Allah, and I mean that in the living sense of the word, that's up to you. But all of these religions control by fear. I remember when I went to Mass one New Year's Eve with the Reverend Mother, and the first thing this female, whatever it was, which she'd have been priest, vicar, I don't know, whatever she was called anyway. And it was the church my mother used to go to, because my mother was Catholic, my father was a Protestant. It's quite interesting. Anyway, the first thing this woman says is, "You have sinned." How the fuck do you know that, you prick? You know, you want to welcome people into the church, try being nice for a kick-off. Try actually talking about the good things. But no, straight away, you're evil, you've sinned, you need to pay. Well, that was the first and last time I ever went to that place. Fuck you. But these, what they call them, Magdalene washhouses or whatever it was, I'll be corrected in the comments, I should say. But basically what the Catholic Church was doing right into the 70s was bringing people back and making them suffer. They've tried to keep it a secret for a long time, but it's coming out now anyway. It's one of Ireland's shameful secrets they don't want to admit to, because it's not really very good for tourism, is it? But the fact that there was collusion from the British state to get rid of these alleged burdens on the state, what did they think? These women would live on benefits for the rest of their life? Did they not think that back in the 60s and the 70s and stuff like that, that these women would actually make an effort to get remarried and settle down and have as normal as life as possible? These people, women, Could have got pregnant for all different reasons, some of them not being their fault, i.e. rape, that kind of thing. Incestual rape, who knows? These women would have had a history, and some of them may have made an honest mistake in the acts of passion. I mean, let's be honest, who hasn't thought that at some point or another they might have got their partner pregnant? It's happened to me when I was younger. Luckily that didn't happen, and the eventual time that it did happen, we were trying for a child, so there it is. On the second attempt. The first attempt was a bit of a shock, but anyway, that's details. However, I've seen now, because in Southern Ireland, right, or Ireland itself, they were massively against abortion. And then when the Marxists got into stuff, they started pushing for abortion because they want to break down the fabric of that society like every other society. And it's only yesterday, actually, I'll see if I can put the clip. If I can find it, I'll put the clip up alongside me now, but it'll be muted. And it's these two horrible, disgusting, vile little Marxists trying to pull down a pro-life poster. Now, you all know what that is, okay? They were dead against it. These people are so pro-abortion. They can't wait to get the unborn killed. Fucking horrible little bastards. These people hate themselves. They hate everything around them. And they can do nothing but destroy. They can't build. And yet they all pat themselves on the back to say they're progressive. You're not. You're fucking degenerates, the lot of you. But anyway, as I was going to say, and the whole point of this is that sometimes we forget the power of platforms like YouTube. When enough of us start speaking up about something and the public get to hear about it, the system itself is then forced into coming out with it. An example of this would be the migrants coming over the channel. Now, Active Patriot and many others were down there reporting on this long before the media were. And then Farage picks it up, pretends he's the first on it, right? And then after that, the mainstream do pick it up. But it comes from grassroots, and I think that's important. Anyway, I've got a long day ahead of me. No aircon in this cab. I'm not in my usual truck, which is why I'm holding the phone and stuff. Hope you're all doing all right. And I'll see you soon.